Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So one of the things that I'm thinking about right now, as I look this week at the Old Testament book of Micah, is the idea of justice. Justice is important. It's a bedrock. It's a fundamental aspect, not just of human rights, but certainly of America. And we live in a time where we're trying to find a ninth justice to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, because it's the ultimate decider of what is just in the law of the land. That's the way our system of government is set up in the United States. And I'm reminded at this time especially of what Micah had to say about this subject, because Micah lived at a time where there were courts in Israel. I mean, God set up a court system back as early as the law he gave to Moses on Mount Sinai. He instructed the judges they had to do justice, not only for the Israelites, but for foreigners who were among them. Everybody was to be treated fairly and even-handedly, and the courts should ensure that. It's no different than our courts today. It's the reason Lady Justice holds scales of justice, but also wears a blindfold, because justice is not supposed to be based upon how strong you are, how mighty you are, how rich you are, or anything like that. Your social standing, your political prowess. It's the same for the outcast as it is for the bon vivant. And so I'm reminded of what Micah had to say about this, because Micah's name means who is like our God. And in the process of that short Old Testament prophetic book, who is like our God is answered in part by who has the justice that our God has. God is a just God. And the court system in Micah's day was not a just system. It was one that favored the privileged over the disenfranchised, favored the wealthy over those that were have-nots. And God was very upset about it. And God says, I'm going to come down and I'm going to plead my case against you, Israel, for your unfairness. And in Micah, the 6th chapter, the 7th verse, Micah says, what does the Lord require of you? This isn't like, hey, what do you do on a good day? This is a requirement. This is a necessity. This is an absolute. What does the Lord require of you? The very first part of that answer is to do justice, then to love mercy or kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. But number one is to do justice. I want to be known as a beacon for justice. This may be especially important to me as a lawyer, but it ought to be important to all of us. Now, we don't live in Micah's day, but we still live with the unchanging truths of who God is, and that includes a God of justice. And so we've got to try and interpret what that justice means in our day and in our culture. Remember President Jimmy Carter? You may not remember him, but you've read about him in history. Jimmy Carter, in his inaugural speech, in his inaugural speech, he quoted one of his teachers. I think her name was Ms. Julia Coleman. And he quoted her for having said, we must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles. And one of those core principles is justice. So here's my challenge for you today. I want to see if you and I can treat everyone we come into contact with fairly. Don't look with favor upon the favorites, but seek justice, seek fairness, seek mercy, seek humility with all people and all circumstances and all situations. That's our video thought for the day.